Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to the back pages. It's Sunday morning, well it's actually no, it's about 3 o'clock nearly. I'm too lazy, bit hungover. But we're going to go through the back pages of the newspapers, see what they're saying about the world of Scottish football. Of course, Celtic and Rangers coming off the back of wins yesterday. Rangers winning 2-0 at Ibrox, Celtic going up to Tannadice and getting a 1-0 win as well. So very interesting, some transfer speculation as well I've been hearing. So quite an interesting Sunday, let's see what they're saying. Back to normal, 3 newspapers today. I managed to find a third one that wasn't The Sun. And we should be able to get a wee bit of talking out of this. Of course, I don't want it to go on too long. I don't want it to be all waffle. A lot of the newspapers will cover the same stories anyway, so I'll be sure to give my opinion to the main stuff, the beefy stuff, as the video goes on. And also, very quickly, a big thank you to everybody who has subscribed at the Talk Scottish Football podcast channel, hitting 1,000 subscribers this morning, which is massive. If you haven't done it already, make sure to head over. Me and my good friend David talking all things Scottish football, does it says on the tin. Anyway, let's get into the first newspaper of the video. I don't know where to start. We've got quite a wee dilemma here. Do we go for the Star? Do we go for the Express? We'll go for the Mail. We'll start with the Mail this morning. They're celebrating, of course, the Rangers' victory yesterday at Ibrox. It was an easy call to drop Alfredo. That is the big story in the back pages over probably the next couple of days. The fact Alfredo Morelos was completely dropped from the Rangers side yesterday. I've not actually done reading into why that was the case, so I guess I'm going to find out along with maybe some other Celtic fans in today's video why he was dropped from the team. But that is the story that is taking up the majority of the back page here. Well, at the top as well, I've got Lenny hails his a jet-propelled striker. Clever, eh? Very clever. Of course, Albion a Yeti coming on yesterday and scoring the winner at a game at Tannadice, which was very difficult. And I want to talk more on that when we get to that game. But first, let's talk about the story about Morelos. Morelos apparently edging closer to Gerrard's exit as Gerrard bombs him out and slams the attitude of the striker. Steven Gerrard insists it was easy to bomb Morelos from the squad yesterday. The striker was nowhere to be seen as Gerrard's Rangers beat Kilmarnock 2-0 at Ibrox. I mean, that is, you know what, I said it a couple of weeks ago on the back pages. I think, for me, Morelos leaving the club would be fantastic for Celtic fans, of course. I think he's still their best player by a mile. He's a dangerous player, of course, yet to see against Celtic, but we know how good a goal scorer he is. Even as Celtic fans, we have to sit down for a minute and admit that he is a good footballer. You know, he gets goals, that's what matters. He might not even necessarily be the most technically gifted player you're ever going to see, but the man knows how to hit the back of the net, and that is probably the main reason why Rangers managed to keep up with Celtic for so long last season. Of course, we got to that January point and Rangers and Celtic were neck and neck at the top of the table. If Morelos leaves, I am fancying my chances. Of course, Rangers have brought in 2 new strikers in Cedric Itten and Kemar Roof as well. Roof, of course, scoring yesterday, so they'll be thinking to themselves, do you know what, we'll take the money, we've got 2 new strikers. But I don't know, I just don't feel like any of them will be up to the standard of Alfredo Morelos. Only time will tell, but his attitude apparently stinks, as Gerrard's saying. And do you know what? It's no shock. We've seen Morelos with attitude problems in the past. I want to get the rest of the story up here. He was warned the Colombian will have to show hunger and desire to get back into the squad. The Gavin made the shock to leave out the star striker for the game against Kilmarnock. He was vindicated when his replacement Kemar Roof scored his first goal for the club. Before Ryan Kent sealed it. So it's massive. It is this, the departure of Morelos finally creeping up upon Rangers. Of course, as well, there's talk about Leeds coming in for Ryan Kent. An initial bid of £10 million was made. There's now talk that they've upped that bid to £14 million. If Rangers lose both Ryan Kent and Alfredo Morelos in this transfer window, that is going to be a stinker, I would say. I've never been one to rate Kent that highly. I believe he's quite overrated, but he is a key part of that Rangers team, and when he plays well, which he has been at the start of this season, he can be a dangerous player. I think he's definitely in for a better season than last year. I think last year he was slightly disappointing, if you were to ask from my point of view. Of course, Rangers fans might not agree with me, but I just don't think he was, worth the money that they paid last season. But he started this season very well, to say the least. He played well in Europe last year, though, I'll give him that. But 2 new signings up front, supposed to be fancy selling. Of course, Celtic not even assured that we will be keeping Odsonne Edouard to the end of this window. £30 million, there's talk of Aston Villa coming in for him, which is worrying, very worrying. But anyway, top story. Let's move on to Celtic very quickly here. Neil Lennon hailed his new boy Albion Ajeti after the striker bagged a Celtic winner at Tannadice. The £5 million man bagged his first goal for the club since arriving from West Ham to kill off Dundee United with 7 minutes left on the clock. It looked like Lennon's side would drop more points in the road in the return to the Premiership, but Ajeti popped up to fire home from close range and secure 3 vital points. Lennon admits the Swiss ace is still short of fitness, but hopes his goal will be the first of many. He said, "I'm delighted for Ajeti." It goes on after that. He didn't just say I'm delighted for Ajeti. But look, this is what I want to bring up about the game yesterday. There are so many negative people out there. On my video where I done the 3 things we learned, so many people were commenting. There's shocking amount of people commenting Lennon's not the man for the job. I was stunned, absolutely stunned. I thought we got over that after he was given the job. Lennon's not the man for the job. We're not good enough. We're going to bottle this. We've not got the good. Our players bang, our team's bang average, all the rest of it. We are 3 games into the domestic season, and 2 of them have been tough away games. Have some respect for the opposition in this division. They're not easy. Rugby Park, we know how difficult it is to go down there. They've not even got a grass park. Dundee United, Mickey Mellons brought that to, well, Robbie Nielsen brought the team up, Mickey Mellons took over, and they have started the season incredibly for a newly promoted side. This team is hungry. Celtic are not going to be able to just go over there and beat them 3-0 because we're Celtic. No, these teams are going to make life difficult. And of course, people are saying, well, every week's going to be the same thing if they're just going to park the bus. Look, we'll grow into the season it goes. We're just back from a break that we shouldn't have had as well. Things could have been very different if we didn't have to take that holiday because of volleyball and Golladay. Why did I just say that? But we're 3 games in. Have some optimism. Look, if this is the case, 10, 15 games into the season, we're still only beating teams 1-0, we're leaving it late, then yes, let's worry a little bit then, because it is an important season. But we're 3 games in, the transfer window's still open, and we've still got 7 points on the board from our first 3 games. The same amount as Rangers got from their first 3 games. Actually, they might have got 3 wins in the bounce, didn't they, and then they drew. But look, if we win our 2 games in hand, we're still level on points with Rangers, is what I'm trying to say. Don't quite panic yet. Just get yourself in order, right? Calm down. Give the players a break. We've spoke about players who have been underperforming, and we know there are ones at the club. But that result yesterday, still a good 3 points. We got it in the end. When we get back to Celtic Park, we'll show them how it's done. Don't worry. We'll wait a wee while before we start panicking. Of course, a lot of the back pages are going through the results of yesterday's games. A Lanarkshire derby win for Hamilton, a game that I did get to sit down and watch, which was... It was a stinker, trust me. If you've not seen Sports Scene yet, skip that game. I'm telling you right now. A win there for them, of course. Rangers got their win. A win for a draw at St Mirren as well for St Mirren Ross County, which seemed to be quite a stinker as well. But a piece as well. Anthony Stokes, of course, getting a move to Livingston. Brilliant signing for them. I think a lot of people will be, of course, very impartial to that move, considering who he is and what's happened. But you know what? I still think it's a good signing for Livingston. A very interesting piece I want to touch on. When they're talking to Neil Lennon, a Cluj disaster is motivation to stay alert. Of course, last year Cluj was a nightmare for us, knocked us out the Champions League qualifiers, to many a Celtic fan surprise. This year we need to learn from those mistakes, and obviously Ferencváros, I can't pronounce it, I'll get it right for the match preview, don't worry. We have to face them on Wednesday night in our next Champions League qualifier. Not going to be an easy game. In fact, one of the pieces on the back page is we are hungry for win. Ferencváros star Somalia has warned Celtic there'll be no Champions League pushovers and says their Euro clash is a 50-50 tie. Good team, champions of Hungary. Can't just think about this as a game that we're going to win. I think they'll bring the game right to us, make it difficult, but as Neil Lennon has said, we've got to learn from the mistakes of Cluj last year and make sure not to repeat those. Spoke quite a bit there on the Sunday Mail, so we're going to move on to the Sunday Express, whose back page, beautiful, that's a lovely photo. I might stick that in the background of the studio whenever we get moved in. Sealed with a Swiss, that's a nice headline, by Ronnie Esplin. He's saying Lennon hails his new boy Ajeti's late strike, talking about Ajeti once more, and hopefully, as Lennon has said, it's the first of many to come. I'm very confident this is a signing that's going to work out for the best. I was very happy when it got done, of course. If you've been following the channel since the rumours began on Albion Ajeti, I was very keen for it to get over the line, and thankfully it did get over the line. But once again, as well on the back page, Morelos' departure could be coming soon, and really that is the big news. But quite disappointing though when you open up the back pages on the site. Of course, this is the first time we went through the Sunday Express on the back pages series. You know, Scottish football, nice to see it in the back page, but what's this about, eh? What's this? Just to clarify, that noise was my horrendously squeaky chair. It wasn't me letting out a fart. it does sound like it, and while I'm editing, I'm worried that it does come across as that. It's not. Trust me. Jadon Sancho and Man United. I don't care about Jadon Sancho and Man United. Why are you giving me that? Give me Ross County. Give me St Mirren. Give me, the likes of Tony Stokes signing for Livy. Don't give me Carlo Ancelotti failing in the transfer market. No, I don't want any of that. I want Scott. That is a joke. That is literally all there is. They expect. What a waste of. How much was this? £1.70. £1.70 I've paid for that. That is literally what I've got in Scottish football. How am I meant to work with this? Jesus, Johnny, what an absolute disaster. Turn to page 4 for a pullout. Oh, there's a pullout. Right. I've been robbed of my pullout. I've picked up a paper that doesn't have a pullout. What a disaster, eh? So I guess all we have to work with is this beautiful photo of a Yeti and Scott Brown, which I love. It's absolutely beautiful, and I like the headline. I'm actually thinking about cutting this back page out for the background of my videos. I like it. I like it a lot. But very quickly, because there is no pull-out, we'll touch on Livingston gives Stokes a chance. Livingston have signed former Celtic and Hibs striker Anthony Stokes a one-year deal. The 32-year-old has returned to Scotland more than 2.5 years after leaving Hibs for a third time. The Republic of Ireland cap has since had spells in Greece, Turkey and Iran. Stokes has had some troubles off the park in recent years, but manager Gary Holt has vowed he'll prepare him to give him a chance and embrace the club's work ethic. I think it's a good sign, and Tony Stokes, one of my favourite players I've seen at Celtic over the past 10 years or so. I really enjoyed him when he was at the club. Thought he was really good when he turned it on. He was a fantastic player, of course, a bit older now, but he's won the Scottish Cup with Hibs. He's been abroad, probably has to work on himself a bit, but I think it will turn out to be a cracking signing. And look, Lyndon Dykes out, Tony Stokes in. I don't think it's that bad a move. Lyndon Dykes was nothing that special. £2 million was an absolute bit of robbery from Livingston. So, aye, good signing I think. But my pull-out's gone. Last paper we moved to. Saffron, stripping for my first swimwear photo session was terrifying. Imagine, right, of course, Saffron Barker, very big YouTuber. Imagine you bought the Daily Star one day and it was Ryan118 stripping for my first swim. Imagine, just imagine, eh? Oh dear, don't imagine. You don't want to imagine. Daily Star Sunday, back page dominated by Rangers once more after their win against Kilmarnock. Axing Alf was easy. Gerrard has no time for sulking Morelos. Rangers manager Steven Gerrard said it was easy to bomb Morelos from his squad yesterday. Once again, it is going to be everywhere over the next week or so. The rumours are not going to stop. Rangers fan, you're in for a week of turmoil, I would suggest, if you're wanting Morelos to stay. But it would seem to me, from what I have heard and what I have seen from Rangers fans on social media and just personal friends and stuff, a lot of people don't mind the thought of them going. If they're getting good money and have brought in those two players, people are confident that Roofe and Itten can do the job. And perhaps they will. I don't get it though. Apparently last year Morelos was the best player in the country, but I don't know, maybe he's not now. The attitude is a problem. £16 million is what the rumours are suggesting in the papers, is what Gerrard is looking for. Would be a fantastic bit of money considering the money that Rangers have spent in this window, so I'm sure that if he does leave, it will be a financial positive for the club, definitely. Ready, Ayeti, go, super sub, comes on to Celtic's rescue. Fantastic, and pretty much just covering the same stuff as it did in the last couple of papers. A waste of money once more, you could say. But it's just covering it. I said it last week about the Star. The Star is more focused on the English game. You get a couple of pages for Scottish football, which usually are quite good articles. I do like them. But aye, Souttar's KO blow. Hearts defender John Souttar will miss Scotland's upcoming Nations League fixtures after the injury blow that he has took. The 23-year-old has suffered a relapse of an Achilles injury. A Hearts statement said John will go for a scan which will present a clearer picture of the extent of his injury. That's a shame, because John Souttar probably is one of Scotland's better centre-halves. It says quite a lot about our quality of centre-halves, I must admit, but it's a gutter that he will be missing out, because I would start him probably, to be quite honest. I get judged for that quite a lot, but we don't have a great deal of centre-halves at Scotland. But that's it. Morelos off, Ayeti off the mark, and well, I'm ready to welcome the next few games to see if Ayeti can keep it up. Also keep an eye out for my swimwear shoot that will be on the Star soon. If you have enjoyed the video, make sure to hit like and subscribe. This week was certainly interesting with the transfer rumours, and there'll be more videos throughout the week, of course. The back pages will return next week, and I'm sure we'll have a good old time. If you have enjoyed, make sure to hit like and subscribe, and I'll see you all next time.